under our the topic, the Bhagavatam, we'll be discussing about the mystery of birth and beyond. What is this mystery of birth? We will come to know, but before that, let us start with, as usual, with this stotra. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Bhi Dhyanagamyam Bande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaika Natham. The mystery of birth in the Kapila way, at how Kapila is thinking about it. Then we know that Kapila, the great ascetic, the firstborn, he has given us the idea that one is consciousness and another is unconscious. The unconscious, he has given the name Prakriti, and the conscious is the Purusha. So the moment the Indian philosophy, they talk about the Kapila system, Purusha and Prakriti, the conscious and unconscious. Now unconscious cannot create, but unconscious Prakriti, the power of God, it says, is having three qualities, Sattva, Raja and Tama, but it cannot work without the association or the support of the Purusha, the consciousness. Now this is the whole thing. And in the third skanda, the third book, 26th chapter, it describes the mystery of birth. The whole chapter is describing the mystery of birth. Those who are interested to know clearly about the Bhagavata way of explaining the creation, they can study this one, the third book and 26th chapter. And this, they say, the closeness of Purusha creates some disturbances in the Prakriti. The closeness of Purusha, it is not association of Purusha, closeness of Purusha. The Purusha is always separated from the Prakriti. So this is a very mystical way. How it is possible when it is not associated? How this creation can come? They say no, because of the association, closeness, immediately the Prakriti becomes activated. How it is possible? We know in the beginning it said, Anta Purushena Kala Rupena Ya Bahi. The inside, the Supreme Being, and by virtue of his divine power, pervades everything. Internally, as the indwelling spirit. Externally, it covers the all external thing. That's time, Kala. Kala Rupena Bahi. Bahi means the external, Kala Rupena, and as the time. So this way it goes. Inside the consciousness and externally, that time, Kala of the Prakriti. How without association it is possible? They give why? It is possible because of the irons are getting activated. When it comes close to magnet. So when it comes close to the magnet, it is not connected. But the magnet just coming close to it, immediately all the particles, iron particles, start activating. In the same way, the Purusha, the closeness of that is activating the Prakriti. Now it goes in this way. Then we had a question in the last time, in our last class. If the Purusha, the Supreme Being, is everything, does it mean he is bound by Prakriti? He is everything, Bahi, Anta, inside and outside. Then does it mean that he is also bound by the Prakriti? What is Prakriti? Again, this is a Sanskrit term that has been used, but anything that is changes, that is Prakriti. Anything that is changes, Prakriti, and naturally God cannot change. Supreme consciousness cannot change. Again and again, all the Indian philosophy, they are telling the same thing. This consciousness cannot change. It never, it's all the time same. Then what is changing is the Prakriti. If again you say the consciousness has become Prakriti, all these changes, all these different type of forms and names, then it must be changing? No. Why? The answer has been given in the 27th chapter, third skanda, third book, and 27th chapter, first verse. It says, Prakriti stovi purusho najjate prakriti gunaihi abhikarat akotritvat nirgunatvat jala arkavat. Arka means the sun. And jala means the water. When the sun is reflected on the water, we see the sun, complete sun, but it is not affected by the flow or the waves of the water. The same way, the Purusha is reflected on Prakriti. And why it is not involved? Because Purusha is having three special qualities. One is abhikarat, it never changes, or kotritvat, it's not having any idea of master, self-doing, and nirgunatvat, no quality, sattva, raja, tama, no quality. Just pure consciousness. Through the Supreme Being, even on being located or associated as if in Prakriti, it's really unaffected because of its real nature, which are abhikara, without any change, or bhikara, or kotritva, without active agency, and nirgunatvat, without any quality. Now to understand this subtle philosophy, we have to understand the kotritva. All the time we think, I am doing. Even the children, if you ask them, they will say, I am going to school, I am reading, I am drawing. So where from this I came, kotritva? That is completely absent in God. Is it possible? Yes. This philosophy, sometimes that Supreme Being takes the human form only to demonstrate in life. And we find in the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna no I sense, no kotritva. Those who have read the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, you know in every pages, there's a unique way. He is doing everything, but without getting associated. I will do, never. So that no kotritva. Swami Vivekananda, he was thinking, he was sometimes discussing with the American friends over here, we have to start one organization in India. Because without the organization, one individual cannot do all this work. First, even if he is doing, after him, all works are gone. So we have to have an organization. So jokingly he said, oh, I am in temptation. Then the other said, who is she? It is not she, it is the organization. He said in that way. The organization, I am tempted, Swamiji said. And this organization, how to do? Naturally, all sorts of plannings are necessary. So the Americans, they are very methodical. The moment it went into their head that we have to have an organization, they used to continuously pursuing Swamiji when you were going to sit. So we have to draw all those things, planning, how to organize, who are going to help. And Swamiji said, I never plan. I do my mother's job. Whatever she will say, I will do. This we have to understand. Just we say, when the mother will say, what is this mother? That consciousness, that conscious being, giving the thought and the idea and everything, and things are taking shape. But I am doing that association binds you. And what is this binding? Birth and death. So that is why the mystery of birth, the birth and death, again and again we have to go in circle. That is. But in reality, we are not. So we'll come to that very interesting way. It says, the association is like reflection of the sun in the water. That this line, this point, we have to keep in mind. This association is like the reflection. What is associated? The consciousness. Without the consciousness, nothing can happen. But consciousness, it's completely free. Then who is associated? The reflection. If the consciousness, the Purusha, is not involved, then who is this who says, I am the doer, I am enjoying, I am suffering? Who is this Jiva? These are the questions comes. We always feel that. Even if thousands of scriptures say, no, you are eternal, but I know that I am mortal. I am going to die. If they say, no, you are the part and parcel of all joy, and I am suffering. Even if you say, I know that I am suffering. So this practical condition, how to solve it? When the Kapila is giving this idea, it cannot be untruth, it's not false, just a philosophy, no. It's the realization, the truth. Then how to prove it? How it is possible? Then it says the great ascetic, again the Kapila, he says, Sa esha yarhi prakrite guneshu abhi vishajjate ahamkara vimhulatma kartaham iti manyate. The last line, mostly in the Bhagavad Gita, those who have read the Gita, they know. This is from the Bhagavatam. So, once again, let me clarify. Bhagavad Gita is the teachings of Lord Krishna. And the Bhagavatam is basically the life of Lord Krishna. But only the 10th chapter, we are studying the 3rd, the 10th one, explaining about the life of Krishna. But it goes all with the Vishnu. That first consciousness took the form of a great Purusha, Vishnu. So in the Bhagavata, major portion is jnana, knowledge that we are discussing. And in the Kapila, he is giving us that idea. So this is the background of the Bhagavata. And this is a book that can give us the liberation, mukti. How? If we understand only this much. What? Reflection of the consciousness on the Prakriti, on the nature. And the reflection of the consciousness. So it is not true, it is not real. The moment we can understand this, we are completely disassociated with these all things that goes on. So this is the way. Sa esha yarhi prakriti guneshu abhibhishajyate. When the Purusha is influenced, abhibhishajyate, influenced, that Purusha is influenced by the qualities, guneshu, of Prakriti. What are the qualities? Sattva, Raja and Tama. They are the very peculiar. It's a good and middle and the lower. So it goes on in this way, Sattva, Raja and Tama. The whole Indian philosophy is based on these three gunas. There's all the people that we see and the beings that we see, and we categorize, oh, he's a good man, he's a not so good, he's a bad. How? Gunas, qualities. Otherwise, by feature, they're all same. So this qualities, where from it comes? Inborn. And this Sattva, Raja, Tama must have come from the nature, from the Prakriti. Because sometimes people blame the parents. Oh, the parents were bad, that's why. It's not like that. It's coming in a deep, this is a very complicated mathematics, we can say. So, the parents, of course, are also contributing, but the jiva who is coming, he is also associated with some of the karmas, the works that he did. But the first question is, who is this jiva? Is he truly conscious being? If he is a conscious being, or she is a conscious being, then the basic question, the consciousness getting associated with unconsciousness, is it possible? How the consciousness can get associated with the unconsciousness? So obviously they will say it is not possible. Consciousness cannot become associated with unconsciousness. But here, in that second verse of the 27th chapter, very clearly the same man, Kapila, he said, when it is associated with the Prakriti, by the gunas, and naturally it start thinking that I am the creator. Ahamkara, ego comes. This ego, where from it comes? And in almost all the religions, now we are thinking that we should start one online class about the world religions. So the commonalities that we will bring, almost all the philosophy are thinking in the same way, only expressing in different ways. Some people, they are practicing, but the expression will be through poetical form, or through songs, or through stories, like that. But they are telling the same thing in different manners. That all religions are telling that I am that supreme being. Only I got associated with something wrong. So that the Christians, they termed as sin. And we said, in the Hinduism, we said, no, it is the false notion, mudha, mudhatva, ajnana, ittadi. So this we find here when confusion comes, when he said that Prakriti is different, Purusha is different, Prakriti is material, Purusha is consciousness, but again here he said, when that Purusha is influenced by the Prakriti, then he starts thinking that I am doing, and obviously he suffers. Now let us go back and analyze the whole thing. Purusha is unattached. Again, the Kapila said, is associated with Prakriti. Purusha is pure consciousness, is never connected with the Prakriti, the divine power of Purusha. Now let us analyze once again. Purusha is consciousness, never associated with the Prakriti. And what is this Prakriti? The power of the Purusha. Though it is the power of the Purusha, it is not associated. Here, let me remind that Shankha is differ with Vedanta. Vedanta also takes the same thing to explain. They say Purusha, the consciousness, as Brahman. That consciousness, Shankha says Purusha, Vedanta says Brahman. Prakriti, they say Maya. The Shankha says Prakriti, Vedanta says Maya. Is that all okay? Now the Shankha says Prakriti is disassociated, permanently disassociated with the Purusha, the consciousness, though it is the power of that Purusha. Vedanta says it is the power of the Brahman. They have termed it Maya, but associated. So disassociation and association. But I won't go to the Vedanta today. We'll discuss about the Kapila philosophy, Samkhya. The Purusha is completely different. When Prakriti comes close to Purusha, then the third spatial qualities of Prakriti, Sattva, Raja, Tama, become activated. This Sattva, Raja and Tama, all that we see is nothing but that. When you look at the stone, what is that? Purely Tama. And sometimes some people who can't think, constantly lying down, etc., they say Tamaguna. Sometimes the Pandits will say that it is all full of Tamaguna. What is this Tamaguna? Means inertness. They don't like to work, and moreover, they will go against anything good. Is it only the separate? No, it is all there within us. Even the best of the people, they are also having this Tamaguna. But they are having also Rajaguna to control the Tamaguna. What is the Rajaguna? Alertness. I should not behave like this, I should not do like this. So the Rajaguna is constantly suppressing the Tamagunas. I am angry, but still keeping as a smile in the face, as if nothing has happened. And afterwards we come, and I will see sometimes in the stories and the movies, some people who are angry, they will go outside and they will shout to give the vent, going out that anger. But inside, they're all gentle. And sometimes when he is having some pain, but cannot express in separate way, all that is present in every being. The moment you take the birth, the moment you take the body, these three gunas are there. Why? Without these three, nothing is there. So permutation and combination. If the good qualities are more, we say Avatar, Bhagavan, the Mahapurusha, like that, the great people. When the good qualities are more, these three qualities gets activated when the Purusha is coming close to it. Immediately it gets the activated. Different changes in the Prakriti start and creating different growths and subtle things. The first creation of Prakriti is Mahat. As because you are studying this, remember this word. The first creation of the Prakriti is the Mahat. The name has been given M-A-H-A-T, Mahat. And this Mahat is also known as the Hiranyagarbha, the golden womb, the golden box, they say. Hiranyagarbha. Why? That is when we are going back and slowly going to the consciousness, ultimate consciousness, we find the rishis, they are praying. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya prihitam mukham tattam pushan apabrinu satya dharmaya drishtaye. He is praying, the one who is controlling the mind and reaching the last thing that is hindering is this golden hue, golden box. Hiranmaya means golden. Patrena, maybe a metal, and that is covering. So he is praying to the Supreme God, the consciousness. I like to see face to face, or stand face to face with you. Remove these. Hiranyagarbha is the last. After that, only that Supreme Being and nothing else. The first born is the Hiranyagarbha. This Mahat, though cosmic in nature, this part we have to remember. Then only we get the answer. Our confusion is how the consciousness gets involved with the material, with the Prakriti. Because this moment, Kapila said, consciousness is completely separate. Again he said, the consciousness, when associated with the Prakriti, how can be associated? Now it comes, the reply comes here. The Mahat is a cosmic in nature, but has a psychological aspect also. That is known as buddhi. When you think that buddhi, and what is this buddhi? Decisive capacity of the mind. Mind, the mana, M-A-N-A, that mana is only swing from side to side. Oh, shall I decide, shall I take this or do this? It cannot take the decision. That is, that particular condition of the mind is called mana in Sanskrit. And when it is taking the decision, it's called buddhi. This mahat is having the buddhi. And buddhi, this intellect, though material, it is having finest material. So, having some special qualities, two qualities. One, luminosity, it is bright. And second, reflectivity. These are the two. So, a person who is very intelligent becomes very successful. All other persons are there, same group. But one becomes very successful. Why? Because of that intellect. And this intellect is a luminosity, prakasha. And that's why when we think, what we think actually, we discover. When you are thinking, we are discovering. Again and again, again and again. So many things. Those who are researching, their intellect is very sharp and one-pointed. They're finding out so many things. There's only buddhi. And other people, if you say, they don't understand because that particular buddhi is little lower in that. Not that it's not there, it is there in every human being, in every being. So this is the buddhi, it is reflecting. It's a material, but it has the capacity to enlighten and reflect, like the glasses. Now the sunlight is also reflecting on the wall. But wall, that way, it is not reflecting as the glass is reflecting. The buddhi is like that. It is a material. Like the wall, the glass is also material, but the glass is different. Why? Because it has that capacity to reflect. In the same glass, if it becomes the mirror, the reflection will be much more. So the great personalities are nothing but the mirrors. Why? The reflection of the consciousness on their buddhi is much more. So this is what they say. And Mahat again produces ahamkara. So what the Mahat, the firstborn, is producing, one is buddhi and also ahamkara, I sense, ego. So these are the two. Now the reflection of the consciousness, like the reflection of the sun in the water, again and again as we were discussing, that reflection of the consciousness when comes on buddhi, that reflect on ahamkara. The buddhi has two capacities. It immediately becomes luminous, lighted, and it reflects. Reflects on what? Ahamkara. But these two. And that's why when we think, I am doing, I should do, what is that? Reflected glory. Basking in the reflected glory. That's why Sri Ramakrishna said, why you are saying that I am doing, you can do nothing. In the Bhagavad Gita, when the Arjuna was telling, no, I am not going to fight, Krishna said, you cannot do anything. I have chosen you to do, that's all. It has already been done. Everything is fixed. Only nimitta matra. You just become the doing as if. But in reality, it's already been done. So this, if we can understand, we understand the whole of religion and spirituality. And what happens? Immediately we become completely free from ego. And when we are free from ego, what remains? Consciousness. We are free from ego means we are nothing but that God. In Vedanta again, in the same thing they said, the Ishvara and the Jiva. Ishvara, the consciousness reflecting on the Maya, the sum total of the ego is Ishvara. And consciousness reflecting on individual self called ego, ahankara is Jiva. Consciousness reflecting on a bigger, it's called Ishvara. And a smaller, called the individual being, Jiva, individual being. Now if we remove that, what remains? Only consciousness. So the Jiva is Brahma. On the basis of that they say, Jiva Brahmaiva, no apara. Jiva is nothing but that consciousness. So we have to understand this. Ahankara is again having the three things. One, Swatika. What are the Swatika? Mind, 5 Jnanendriya and 5 Karmendriya. This 5 Jnanendriya, the eye, the nose, the tongue and the skin, all these things from the Swatika part of the Ahankara. And Tamasika part, that Tanmatras are the gross elements. And what the Raja do, Raja is helping only both. Raja is not having any other special quality, either helping the Swatta or the Tama. And now these Tanmatras are very subtle. It's very difficult to understand. That's why sometimes some people, they used to bring food to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna will say, keep it over there in the corner. And when they left, he said, go and throw it in the Ganga. Do not eat it. Why? Tanmatra. Even in that food, their temperament, their mentality, all that is associated. So that's why one should be careful when taking food. Why? Otherwise you are sharing that mentality, temperament, which is so subtle, it is very difficult to understand, is called the Tanmatra. That's why the Brahmins are very, very careful. They won't take this and that. No, you need not to bother about all those things. But what we can do, we offer it to God, a devotional way. Again and again you will find whenever you offer the food, Brahma Arpanam, Brahma Bhavi. So we offer it to God and then we partake the prasad. God can understand what is good and what is bad, that He will know. We cannot go on testing, but the Tanmatras are very, very present. Now you have come to this shrine. The moment you enter over here, you know automatically your behavior is changing. You are coming, folding your hands, sitting on the chair, looking at the shrine, and then closing your eyes, trying to control your mind. But when you go to a restaurant, do you do that? No. Because your mind is completely different. The moment you are entering over there, you know that I have to place the order, then I have to eat, I have to chat with the friend, and all these things comes. You go to some other place, you will find that all are influenced by that. Why? Tanmatra. In Sanskrit they say Tanmatra means very subtle way of influencing the people. We don't understand, but it influences. So this is when a holy man, yesterday I was visiting somebody's house. The moment I entered, they were having all fun. And the moment I entered, immediately all they stopped talking, looked at me, and a little bit confused what to do because Swamiji has come. So shall we go and touch his feet or not, and this and that. And in that confusion, he broke the water bottle and all this thing. So it goes in this way. Why suddenly it happened? No, don't blame for the breaking of the water bottle on me, because he was trying to do a little hurriedly. Tanmatra. The moment I entered, I carried a Tanmatra with me that a holy person has come and we have to behave according to him. So they were trying to adjust that. I didn't say anything. Why they did? Because the Tanmatra. And the moment a politician is coming and all people are, some are shouting against, some are shouting favor, why? Tanmatra. So Tanmatra is very important. But it is the third part of the Ahamkara. Ahamkara, and the third part is Tamasika, that is called Tanmatra. This is influencing tremendously. That is why they say, go to a holy place, go to a holy person. Why? You imbibe the Tanmatra. But if the holy man constantly going to wrong places, they emanate all those and then started taking bad place Tanmatra in him. That's why the sadhus, the monks, they avoid to go all those places because of the Tanmatra. Too much of it, he will lose. And that is the reason. Everything it happens in our life. We all know it, but we don't realize it. So how to go back? So it says, now we have understood what is ultimately, what is this birth? They say, you are not born at all. You are only thinking. Do you believe it? No. He said no. So we are not at all born. We are only thinking that we are born. So this is the unique philosophy, and truly it is very difficult to understand and accept. That's why when Narendranath came, Sri Ramakrishna touched him to taste. And Narendranath's mind was traveling very fast towards that realm of the Supreme Being. But this boy was not ready. So he started crying, what you have done? I have my mother, I have my father, I have my family. What you have done? I don't like to go die now. He was thinking that he is going to die. Sri Ramakrishna immediately touched again and said, okay, it will take some time. But same Narendra, afterwards, after the practices, when he himself realized, he used to go to that Supreme Being anytime he wished. Here even in the Chicago, on the bank of that Michigan lake, used to sit on that bench, not that the big asana and these and that, just on the bench he sat and merged into that Supreme. That is called Samadhi. How it is possible? Just understanding that I am not associated with this body and mind. Though the mind is very subtle, though the mind is reflecting the consciousness, the mind is intellect, but I am not associated with this. Who is this I? I am the consciousness. How then I can say that I am not? Because from the beginning itself, it is the reflection of the consciousness on the buddhi, and that made me confused. So I am not of that. So this buddhi getting the reflection of the consciousness and then sending it to the ahamkara, and ahamkara, the ego sense activating and say, I am, I am. Now we get the answer, right? The Purusha, the consciousness, when coming closer to Prakriti, it is reflected on buddhi. And the finest part of the Mahat, that reflection again activated the ahamkara, the ego, the I sense. And as they say, basking in the reflected glory, there's sometimes if you go near to the president's White House, all around the people are there, you say, you work in the White House? Yes. I saw all the time talking with the president. I know, I am influencing him. Basking in the reflected glory. And when they go back to their own places, all people will come. I like to go to Washington DC. I like to meet. Okay, meet me. I don't have time. I will give you after 6 months. Come. Who is he? Maybe a cook in that place. So this is the problem. Basking in the reflected. All of us, we are doing that. I. We always place our hand on our chest and beat and repeat. But who is this I? This body? Some people will burn it someday, and if they like, otherwise they will simply throw. So this body that we are associated with has no value. The mind, any day, God forbid, in the next morning we can think, oh, I cannot understand what I am doing. Then the people will say, no, you cannot go out, you have to be here, then this and that. Alzheimer. So a terrible thing may happen. I was a very intelligent person. Now, a Nobel laureate, a person who earned that Nobel, the prize, he lost his brain. Anytime it can happen. Then what remains then? The body is not remaining, buddhi is not remaining, then what? And we become so egoistic that we are so much so. What is there? So this we have to understand is the reflection only. So I am the doer. That's the most funny thing. When you say I am doing, that's the most funny thing, the false thing that you are telling. We have to understand this. And that's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna taught, I am not doing, God is doing through me. If we understand this much at this moment, God is doing through me, so what will happen? You will become very moral and you will become very humble. But of course, one thing we must remember, when you go to your working place, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna again is teaching, you must hiss, but don't bite. And if you go to all your places and say, I am humble, whatever you say, all people, it's a good one. All they will go and throw all the things on you. No. In your place, if you are a boss, you have to dictate. You have to show your power. You have to command. But within yourself, that is the very difficult thing. Within yourself, we must say, not me, not me, not me. Naham, naham, naham. Not me, not me, not me. But when they say in America, one boy, he came from India. In India we always teach to be humble. So in his resume he wrote, I can try to do that. He can't do that. He wrote, no, if you give the opportunity, I will turn no stone unturned, as the Indian languages. No, I will left no stone unturned to do that, etc., etc. They couldn't understand and they said, no, you are not. Then afterwards his friend got the job. I say, hey, how you wrote? He saw only one sentences. I am confident to do this. I know this. I know that. And he got the job. This is America. They want to. Do you know? Yes. No, if you give me that opportunity, I will try to do. That is all humbleness in our place. Not here. Here was cut and dry, the straight way. But inside you should know, in reality, I am not doing. Through the grace of God, some people are so intelligent, but that intelligence has come from the reflection of that consciousness. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, whenever someone is getting the appreciation in the society, as a singer, as a dancer, as a doctor, as a scientist, know it for sure, God's grace is manifesting through him. Why he said that? God's grace manifesting through him or through her. Why? Because the reflection of that consciousness is more clear on the buddhi of that particular person. It is not that person is capable, but the reflection. If that person always remember it, what will happen? Self-confidence will come. God is with me. That's why Swamiji said, don't be egoistic, but self-confidence, self-confidence, self-confidence. So why this self-confidence? Because I am receiving the grace of God. My buddhi, my intellect is receiving the reflection of God so clear, so I can do it. Now beyond, we are in the chakra, we are in the circle of birth and death again and again. Now that we are in a good position, good birth and everything is good, so we are thinking, oh, it's good. What is the wrong in taking birth? And if you take birth in, I am not naming those places. Nowadays, every day is coming in the news. Suppose you become like that, your picture will come someday, God forbid, in the newspaper that you are lying down on the seashore, dead, what will happen? Is that alive? So no. So that's why you do not know. We do not know. So what type of birth we will get in the next life? So one should be very, very careful. And why we are going to pray to God? So this is the answer. Sometimes most of the people they go just because of the emotion. But if you understand the philosophy that this is the reflection of God on our buddhi, which is again reflecting on the ahankara, the ego sense, and from there I am doing, but in reality this is not my light. If the moon someday fight with the sun and say, hey, I am not going to take any light from you, I will be. The sun will say, okay, no problem, go. And what will happen? We won't be able to find out the moon. Because the moon's light is nothing but the reflection of the sun. The same way, when a person is telling, I am so and so, then the reflection of that consciousness withdraws. And where he goes? Oblivion. Nowhere. So this is the reason. Now, as an example, it says, one bullock cart was going. And two strong bulls, because it was a very heavy cart, and they were pulling. One dog, stray dog, he was also walking on the same street. And suddenly he noticed that the shadow of the bull fall on the dog, and dog felt that it is pulling the cart. And he also started walking very seriously. I have to pull the cart. And bull perhaps just glanced at the dog, smiled and went away. But the dog was thinking, I am pulling the cart. Same way, we are thinking, we are doing all these things. But in reality, is all that God is doing through us. So be humble and be submissive to God so that God will give you more and more light, and you will be getting the respect and all success in this world. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, unselfishness is more paying, but we don't have the patience to practice it. What is this unselfishness? Divinity. The love is divinity. The more you are manifesting ahamkara vimūಢātmā kartāham iti manyate. The dog walking in the shadow of the bull was thinking. Why he is thinking? Vimūಢātmā. He was deluded by that, oh, I am pulling the cart. Nobody said, but he was thinking, I am doing this. Sometimes some people will say, before me nothing good happened. After me, nothing good will happen. I am the only person. So, okay, continue, then you will see. Then after that, you will be nowhere. Only for the little time, some people, they become the bosses and become so egoistic. You will see when they are walking, the nose and the sky parallel. Why? The normalcy goes away. Why? Ego. I am so and so. Who is thinking? He is thinking. But the other people, suppose even the king is walking in the marketplace. Ordinary people don't know, nobody announced. They will think another person only. So then someone will come. Why these all VIPs always take so many the cards and the police and people only to announce that I am somebody. If they go all along, then nobody will care. So that I am thinking I am great, but nobody knew. So one person came and told, okay, you know me. Then all they were sitting in there. So who are you? You don't know me? I am a great singer. So no, I said, okay, anyway, sing and then let us know how you sing. That person, he was a very famous man, but it's a very bad experience because the place he went is in Andaman. The Andaman people, they don't bother about all that. And this man who was very famous, he went, okay, what song I will sing? You know me. They replied, but who are you? So, I am a singer. A singer? We never heard you. Anyway, sing that, let us see how you sing. That gentleman came and told, I never been humiliated like this anywhere. I told that before you are going on the stage, why do you think that people will know you? Send someone to announce about you. So and so is coming, this and that, then only they will understand, that's okay, somebody has come. So this is the condition. I am thinking I am somebody, but people don't know. World doesn't know. They don't bother about. So this is the thing. Ahamkara vimodatma. We always delude. When we touch something, now it is the buddhi. How the buddhi is reacting? We are touching something. That sensation goes into our mind and the buddhi decide in their own way, right? So we are touching this wood, immediately, in the fraction of a second, it goes to my buddhi, decisive faculty of the mind, and say it is a wood. Then I touch this is a ware. Then I touch this is a book. Like this, we get the knowledge. But is it all the time true? There was a great personality, Tulsidas, you must have heard the name. He used to love his wife, Ratnavali, so much. Every moment, the Ratnavali should be before Tulsidas. And Tulsidas never go out anywhere, constantly looking at the Ratnavali, and Ratnavali got tired. Then one day, by chance, Tulsidas went out, then someone from Ratnavali's father's house came. His father was ill. Ratnavali, without informing Tulsidas, went and to her father's house. And Tulsidas came back and he was mad. Where is Ratnavali? And he ran to cross the river to go to the other village where the Ratnavali. But there was no boat and it was a very stormy evening, afternoon, night. He started swimming. He crossed that river in that way. And then finally he reached to that house and he saw in one room the light is burning. And he thought, Ratnavali is waiting for me. She knew that I will surely come. Then he noticed that from outside the window, one rope is hanging. Oh, Ratnavali is so considerate. She is keeping a rope from the outside so that I can climb. So he held that rope and went over there and ultimately found it is not a rope, it is a snake. And the snake perhaps was thinking, what is going on? Why this man? So what happened? The touch of a snake became a rope to that Tulsidas, deluded. Just for tremendous love, attachment for that lady, the wife, the Ratnavali, the touch of snake also became the touch of a rope. And he climbed. Then of course that story, Ratnavali rebuked him and said, the love that you are giving to me, the attachment that you are giving to me, a little part if you give to God, you will realize God. And you are a Brahmin. How come that you are associated with this body? Tulsidas immediately, he said, you are my guru. And from today I have understood, I have realized. That is another story. But when we touch, when we see, when we hear, it goes to our mind, but it may deceive us. So how to believe that all these, our senses, whatever the information they are bringing are correct? It is not. Then buddhi and ahamkara and the get entangled with the prakriti. What happens? Our buddhi and ahamkara, it entangles with the prakriti. What happens? This is the last verse I will read. That is the third verse of the 27th chapter. Now the samsara. Tina samsara padavim avasha abhyati anibritaha prashingakai karma doshai sat asat mistra yonishu. prasangikaihi, through the identification with the Prakriti. This Sanskrit is totally little different. Prasangika. And usually the reference, no, it is prasangika means the identification. Identification with the Prakriti. Jiva becomes the helpless avasha and miserable anibrita and gets involved in the cycle of birth and death. And this birth and death goes to high, it is godly, and middle, the very human, and low, the species, different species, according to the effect of karma. So that's why they always say, since you have got this human birth and a desire to know God or higher spiritual life has come into your mind, don't waste time. Go straight forward and get that idea. Otherwise, you do not know in the next birth where you will go. God forbid again. So we may, the Upanishads say, Nakasya pristate sukrite anubhutve imam lokam hinataram bhavishanti. Nakasya means in the heaven, after spending in the heaven for in exchange of your good work, you may come back to this life or you may go down again. We do not know. So in the 5th verse, Kapila gave the hint how to go beyond this. There is the mystery of birth. What is the mystery of birth? The reflection of the consciousness on the buddhi and ahamkara. This is the whole thing, and that get entangled with the Prakriti, and the Prakriti naturally mixed it in Sattarajatama, and the Sattarajatama again with your result of work, good, bad. So you are taking birth in different form, and you are thinking that you have taken the birth, and all these things goes on. It's continuously going on. You are thinking in that way. Sometimes the crazy people, a person is all the time having the hallucination. You say that you are truly not seeing it. Doctors are telling, friends are telling, relatives are telling. He said, no, I am seeing it. So that way, so much of attachment and delusion that we forget. Even the God comes and says that you are in reality pure. Amritasya putra, you are the children of immortal bliss. We say that may be some others, but I am not. Why? Because that confidence is not there, because we do not understand this. Then what is the way out? What is the beyond? Then Kapila, in the 5th verse, he says that to gain the liberation, the mind has to be slowly withdrawn away from the involvement with nature, Prakriti. See, in the Hindu society, they made in this way. First, they gave the idea, dharma. First, that idea. That is when you were very young, student. Then they kept it in mind, but the Prakriti, the nature, for having all the name, fame and physical comfort, they started, let's call Brahma Garhastha. And then afterwards retirement comes, then you are getting little slowly disassociated, the friends go away, there is no much work. Then we try to get entangled with some social work and this and that also slowly goes away. Then physically also we become unable to do. And then comes the sannyasa. At the time of sannyasa, when you learn those things as a young person, that comes. Oh yes, sannyasa means giving up. What I am giving up? Only my ego. Only because of this ego, I am separated from God. Let me give up the ego. That is sannyasa. Sannyasa means samyak nyasa, tyaga. What is the tyaga? Ego. So that Kapila is telling, shanai shanai, slowly, we have to withdraw. Then two things are there. The united with the Supreme Being through Bhakti Yogena. United with the Supreme Being how? Bhakti yogena. Why not jnana yogena? We are discussing all about the jnana. What is this bhakti? Bhakti is nothing but one-pointed devotion to the ideal. The moment we talk about the bhakti, we explain in different way. Here the bhakti yogena means one-pointed devotion, one-pointed mind to that ideal. I am going to realize that I am not this body and mind, because this body and mind is the reflected consciousness. I am going to go back to the consciousness. So who am I? This type of topics the Swamis will be speaking. Who am I? The Brahman, the consciousness, the Purusha. The how then I am in this body? Because of the reflection. And I mistook that reflection as the real. Now I have understood that this is only reflection, so I am going back. So this way, Bhakti Yogena Tibrayana. Tibra means intense, one-pointed devotion. I have understood it, now I am going to practice it. And one-pointed devotion with detachment. The moment you are going towards God, you are leaving something. What is that? This world. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, in his very simple way, he said, the more you are going towards the west, east will be. You need not to push the east at your back. East will be all the time at your back. To go to the west. When you are going towards the ocean, all things will be left behind and you will feel the cool breeze. So this is the way we have to go, and then he is explaining about the very famous Ashtanga Yoga, the eightfold yoga. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. Then most of the people, they come and tell, can you teach us Samadhi? And the Samadhi is all right, but you have to jump over there. Before that, if you don't have the steps by step, if you don't go, from here you have to jump. How can you do that? The Samadhi, the Dhyana, all the people they are talking about, not for sure, simply bluffing. It is not possible. Never ever possible. This is, Yama means you have to practice Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha. I don't have much time to explain in English. So, and Niyama means again the Shaucha, Santosha, containment, Tapa, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana. Are you ready with that? These are the first two steps. Then all others will come. Friends, devotees, we have already had a discussion on that, about that meditation, and there are some CDs are there. Why should we meditate? And very elaborate discussions are there. We won't go into that. In our next class, we will touch different type of devotion. The Bhakti Yogena. What is this Bhakti? Very different type of devotions are there. We will discuss about. The Kapila Muni is telling, on that we will discuss. Now, let us conclude with this sloka. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stunnanti Divyai Stavai Vedai Sangha Padakramopanishadai Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogina Yasyantam Nabidu Surasura-gana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Thank you. And when you go down, please have the prasad and then you can go.